Okay, so I saw people do this on YouTube, and basically it's every NFL home team's jersey ranking. I thought it'd be fun to do, and this is not my opinion on the team themselves. I have a whole video on that on the channel if you want to watch it. Let's get into it. First up, God's here, pretty self-explanatory, certified classics to me. First up, LA Chargers. I just really love the blue and yellow combination, especially that powder blue and the dark blue uniform is just amazing. Everything about this is A plus to me. And, might be the best uniforms in the NFL if you actually let me tell it. Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings. I really like the color palette on this one again, especially the shade of purple. I think it looks great every single time I see this. I'm just like, this is a certified banger right here. Next up, we got the Chicago Bear. Talk about classic personified. I really love the color palette on this, and I like the numbering on it. It's something that is different, and it's just something that is so simple yet effective overall. There's just something about these uniforms I love, I don't get tired of, and one of the best in the NFL all time. I'm glad that they didn't change it too much because it doesn't really need to be, and I really like that GSW on the side and all the little touches that they put onto it. Just something really special about this uniform for me, so definitely a favorite. Next up, the Green Bay Packers. I mean, this is just simply iconic. Again, I really love the colorway, as I do all the ones that I put in this, top tier, and just every single time I see it, you can't really go wrong with it. And then next up, we got the elite tier. These are ones that I still think are incredible in their own right. It's my second tier. First up, Kansas City Chiefs, my favorite team. And I think that these just look great. Every time I see them, I just really appreciate them. And I really like all the patches that they added onto it as well, with like the Normal K Hunt patch and everything like that. And, they stand out in a good way. And I really just appreciate, how it represents the franchise. I do. Next up, San Francisco 49ers. These are just elegant in a way, and not too much needs to happen with them, and I just really like them as they are, especially the throwbacks and everything with that era of Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and others, and definitely one of the best uniforms in the NFL for sure. Next up, we got the Baltimore Ravens, a certified classic, and we love it. And then next up, the Miami Dolphins. This colorway, one of the best colorways in the NFL, especially the throwback jerseys. Again, this is regular, but the throwback, really stole my heart, and there's just something that's so nice about it. I really like the font on this one too. It really stands out to me. Now we're on to the great tier. I think that, these are still excellent, but this is just the third tier. First up, we got the Detroit Lions. I really like the colorway, especially this specific color blue they ate. And I heard that they're going to redo the uniform. So if anything, I hope that they make some slight changes to it because I really like what they're going on. And, the numbers, like that kind of font isn't really my favorite. It doesn't bother me too much, but, still really like these uniforms. Next up, we got the Buffalobills. Pretty simple. I really enjoy the color palette. Every single time I see these, I think that it looks great. And there's something so sharp about it. Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all might crucify me for this one because, these are definitely iconic in their own way. You just think about all the legends that have worn these jerseys and, the city of Philadelphia. And I really love that Eagles patch on the side. It's definitely classic. The reason why it's here is because, I do enjoy it. The numbers, do kind of bother me in a sense. But it's also kind of like the Kelly Green jersey. I love that one so much. I really wish they had that one full time. And, seeing them playing that this year multiple times, that was a treat. But if it was the Kelly Green, it would definitely be in God tier. I love it that much, and I still really do enjoy these uniforms. Don't get me wrong. Kelly Green is just gonna outsell it here. Next up, Cincinnati Bengals. I really enjoy it, and I think that it looks cute. Now we're on to the good tier. These are ones that I still really do enjoy. First up, we got the New York Giants. Obviously, these are iconic, over the years, and the history behind it as well. I like the colorway a lot. It has a clean look to it. Next up, New York Jets. Pretty simple, but I like it. Next up, Carolina Panthers. I like the colorway on it a lot. And then Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not trying to do too much, which I really appreciate. And I just really like the little patches and stuff on the side as well. I think that's a really nice touch, and it's one of my favorite patches on the NFL, to be honest with you. Raiders, the colorway, it's okay. It's okay. It's kind of just there to me, if I'm honest with you. Now on to the okay, decent tier. These are ones that, are good in a sense. I don't absolutely hate them. It's just better that I already went over. First up, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers classic in a sense. It's a good colorway. The numbering on these, I hate it. I really do. It just bothers me every single time I see it. And honestly, in the NFL, I kind of wish that with the numbers, it was consistent all the way throughout. But, I mean, that's just my opinion. And then Jacksonville Jaguars, the colorway is cute. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts. So these aren't bad. I like this shade of blue, actually. The white works nice with it. I don't mind it too much. Next up, the LA Rams. I don't like the gradient numbering on that. That is absolutely a chop. They need to get rid of it. And if they change it, maybe it could be higher. But, with that, it's just bothering me. The Houston Texans, honestly, the red uniforms kind of outsold, and I wish that they wore those full time. I think they're going to get a redesign on the uniform, so I'm curious to see what that looks like. Next up is the Dallas Cowboys. So someone pointed out, why don't you guys wear your home jerseys at home? That's so counterintuitive. I don't like it. Across this grid, it sticks out like a sore thumb, because why do you do that? And the home jerseys are actually okay. I mean, these and the away jerseys kind of happen to mid-off, though. But, they don't look too bad. I will say that. I like the alternate jerseys and, the throwbacks that they have had. But, that's my thoughts there. And then next up, we have the New Orleans Saints. Colorway isn't really my favorite, to be honest with you, and that's that. Then we have the bad tier. I just hate these. Every single time I see it, I'm like, this is absolutely a chop, and you need to redesign it or just do something different, because I can't keep looking at this subjectively. First up, we got the Arizona Cardinals. The old uniforms are better. Bring it back. I don't like what they're doing now. Denver Broncos. This is just boring for me to look at. I don't like it. There's just something that's so ridiculously plain for it. You would just think, for what the franchisees would stand for, they would do something more significant than this. And then, I have a special bone to pick with this next one. The Seattle Seahawks. This is so ridiculously ugly. It hurts me to look at it. Every single time I see these uniforms, I'm just like, why did they go with this? Why was this a decision they had for this franchise and for the player to wear these uniforms? And just the color palette and just the way that it's designed and the text, I hate everything about it. There's not one thing that I like about it. And it's just a chop. It really is a chop overall. And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, why did I move it down? Because my last category, we're going to get there. And then next up is the Tennessee Titans. I just hate it. Again, there's nothing good about it. Then next up is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. Again, I don't like the redesign. It's absolutely a chop. Y'all need to start over. Next up, the New England Patriots. These new uniforms, again, a chop. I mean, for the most part, I don't really care too much for the Patriots uniforms. And while I'm here, I don't understand why 5 of these teams have a pretty similar colorway. Honestly, because you have the Patriots, you have the Texans, which are pretty similar if you really sit down and look at it. And then this is kind of a different moment, but you have the Giants and then you have the Bills. I'm like, why are you guys basically using the same colors? You can't get more creative with the color scheme. It's giving lazy to me. And this is something that has routinely bothered me. And so I just had to get that out there, because you guys should be doing better than this, but that is beside the point. And then next up, the Browns. I don't like anything about the franchise, including the uniforms. There is worse. They're not the worst to look at. It's just the color palette isn't really my favorite. And then in the awful tier, we have the Washington Commanders. Again, this franchise completely, from what I've learned about it, is a chop, especially these uniforms. I mean, just the eyesore to look at. They absolutely just dropped the ball in design. They really did. They came up with this BS and then they went home. And they just really have to fix it, because this isn't the way. It just looks so low budget, so low quality. It's not giving NFL to me. It's giving you screen printed this in your garage and then you moved on. And it's just disrespectful to me even to look at it. It's a chop. So this is going to be all the away uniforms and everything. And so you guys can just kind of look at this and see where I placed everything. And it kind of did shift around a little bit. Honestly, I thought it would be pretty similar to what I had for the home jerseys. But some, it's the away jerseys, they just looked really boring to me. I was like, this is absolutely a chop. And, there were some away jerseys that, came up in a way that I didn't expect. There were some that went down because I just didn't really like them. And so this is, my away jersey moment, because I figured I might as well put them both together. But yeah, that's going to be my tier list. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What is going to be your favorites? Maybe I'll do something like this for the throwback uniforms, because I talked about a few of them, and for some teams, I actually really like the throwback uniforms more than the ones that they currently wear. So maybe that will be separate, but, this is just something I thought would be really interesting to do, honestly, but let's continue the conversation in the comments about it.